This is the direction video for the Education 111 Pre-Professional Portfolio. This portfolio project is the foundation of your professional portfolio that you will take with you at the completion of your program at HAC. Whether you're transferring or going out into the job market, this portfolio serves as a showcase of all that you have learned, and also it's the foundation to let others know all that you have experienced in your field placement world. When you are beginning your portfolio, you'll need to choose between two different online programs. You can use Weebly or Wix. Both are free and allow you to create a professional portfolio easily on the internet. Your portfolio will have a set of required tabs and components. Now, some of the examples that you may see may not exactly have these wording, but this is how I'd like you to set it up. It's very simple this way. We've made some changes over the course of our program, and this is what we're working with now. So you'll need a home page, which is your main tab or your main opening when your portfolio is visited. It will have your name, should have a mission statement or quote from you, possibly a photograph, and also either an autobiographical sketch of yourself or an introduction of who you are and why you're interested in education. Your next tab will be a Documents tab. This will house your professional and medical clearances, which also may be placed there as a placeholder, and you can put available upon request. It's probably best to not have those out on the internet. Also, a copy of your mandated reporter certificate, your resume and transcript, signed copies of your NACCE Code of Ethical Conduct, initialed and signed HAC program standards. So we want to have those all in one place if someone needs to see them. Your next tab is your Philosophy of Education tab, where you'll house the completed philosophy of education that you do in this course. Your next tab is your NACCE Standards tab. Under this tab, you'll have all the standards listed, and there is a chart attached below that I'll show you. And also, you'll have an artifact, which are course projects, observations, participation activities related to those standards, and reflections that describe how you've met these artifacts. So I'm going to scroll down right now, and this is what you'll need to put under that NACCE Standards tab. You'll have NACCE Standard 1, and under Standard 1, you'll list NACCE Standard 1B, and you'll actually put this standard. You'll put in your theorist project, and then you'll put an explanation as to why that artifact explains your understanding of this standard. So you'll do you've done the theorist project. Now you're going to have a reflection as to how doing that project allowed you to understand this standard. Also under Standard 1, you'll have NACCE Standard 1C, and you'll do the same thing with your floor plan. Then you'll have a new page for NACCE Standard 2B, a new page for NACCE Standard 3C, a new one for 4A and 4B and 4C, a new one for 5C, and a new one for 6C. And each one of those will have this artifact. So we've chosen the artifact for you. You just have to include the artifact and, again, that reflection of how this artifact relates to your understanding of the standard. I'll show you an example in a moment. Your next tab is your Field Experience tab, and this is one of your most important tabs because this is your collection of your field placement hours. Nowhere else are those hours recorded. So it's very important that you collect these in this specific way. For each visit you made, you'll have a teacher signature page to show the completion of your 10 observation hours. They can be all on one page, or they can be 5 different teacher signature pages. It's really however you do it over the course of your visit this semester. You need them completely filled out with all teacher contact information and names signed in pen, and your hours must also be logged in pen. Also is the Field Experience chart completely filled out for our course with your hours, locations, and ages. I will show you where this is on D2L. As you build on to this portfolio each course, you'll add to this chart. You also need all of your observational forms and reflection projects for the 10 hours in this course. Your last tab will be contact information. Sometimes there's a generic one that the students use that's generated, that if they want to contact you, they fill in information. Sometimes others just have their email and phone contact. It's up to you. Remember, this is a professional portfolio. It must be neat, organized, and done professionally, which means it is proofread. It is your way of showcasing yourself and communicating yourself to employers or your transfer school. You want to stand out in a good way. I've included a link at the bottom to an example. This is done for an Education 110 class, but our portfolio project is the same. So even though it says 110, it applies to you. Also on D2, I'll show you in just a moment where I have examples of specific portfolios done on Weebly and on Wix for 111. So again, these are your artifacts. It's your check sheet. All of this needs included under that NACCE standard tab. And then most important is your rubric. And this rubric is your guideline as to what is going to be graded. Everything above is basically listed here, and so you can check this out on your own. You may want to print it. As you can see, it's quite small, but if you print it, you can really get a good reflection of it. So I'm going to head out of here. And just under that portfolio file, what you'll just see is there is our handout. This is the video you're watching right now. This is the field experience chart. And as you notice, it says, make sure that this is on the field experience tab, but it also should, if you are in a different program and taking 111 additionally, you may need a different chart. And those are going to be found in the educational resource shell on D2L that all education students are enrolled in. But this is what your chart looks like. Okay, it's on a Google Sheet. You'll just have to open it up. And you'll need to go under, this is what our chart looks like. This is a view only for most of you. It's not for me. But under here, you'll go to make a copy. You'll make your own copy of this, and then you can insert it. You can screenshot it, or you can insert it just as a file. Okay, so I'm going to head back here, back to our portfolio. I want to show you those examples. So we have example 1, and this is from the Weebly website. So you can see we have our home page, our Philosophy of Education tab, our NACCE Standards tab. We have important documents, which is all of the important things that you need to have with your clearances and things, and our field placement hours and our contact tab. So on the home page, you can see we have our quote, we have a nice picture, and we have that little biographical sketch. Under the Philosophy of Education tab, there's that philosophy, and that's all you really need. Under the NACCE Standards, here's our Standard 1, and you can see that this student has listed the standard. Then there we see that 1B, and we see the project is the Theris project, and here is the reflection where she has shared how doing this project enhanced her understanding of the Standard 1B. And there's Standard 1C, the same thing. Go back, here's Standard 2. She's got her standard listed. There's the parent newsletter. There's a reflection. Okay, I'm not going to go through them all, but if you have questions, there they are. Under important documents, you can see the NACCE Code of Ethical Conduct, the program standards, page 1 and 2. Transcript is available upon request, and that is fine because it's constantly changing. The clearances are also available upon request. She does not have her mandated reporter training on here, basically because we've made some changes to the program and it was not required when this portfolio was made, but you will need to have your mandated reporter training certificate on there. Under field placement hours, you can see the way that this is organized. We have each of our 5 visits and the final reflection. And then if you go back up to her tab, see if I've done it properly. I'm sorry, it's down at the bottom. These are her signed forms for each of the visits, and then here is her field placement chart. She actually created her own, which is absolutely fine, but it has to include all of the information on the original chart. And here's that contact tab. Again, there's a little explanation, and if someone needs to get a hold of you, that's how they can submit it through Weebly. The second example is going to be in Wix. Wix is your other platform you may use. And I'm going to take you into a bigger selection of it. So we again see the Philosophy of Education tab, the NAEYC Standard tab, the Document tab, the Field Placement and Hour tab, and our Contact tab. So for her home screen, she's got a little introduction about herself and a quote. Philosophy, again, there's that philosophy. Hers is broken down by subject. Under her NAEYC Standards, she's got each of the standards listed. I'm just going to show you standard 1, but here are all the standards for NAEYC, and you'll be adding to them as you go through the program. Then when you click on it, here's her standard 1. There's the Theorist project, and then we have the reflection. And there's standard 1C, there's our artifact, and the reflection. So just like the other one, just looks a little bit different. You can do that for any of her standards. Under documents, she's got links to all of her clearances available upon request. Her resume and transcript available upon request. NAEYC Code of Conduct and Hack Program Standards are linkable. And again, her mandated reporter training is on there. Under Field Placement Hours, there's that chart. You can see she screenshotted it. And she has all of her hours in because she is at the end of her program. She also has all of her observations and the forms linked here, and the teacher signature for the places that she's been. Okay, she only went to 2 different centers for this one. There's our Contact tab under Wix. You can see it looks similar to Weebly's Contact tab. But everything that was required is on both of these portfolios. You can just see how they're organized slightly differently. When you finish your portfolio, what you're going to do is go to the Dropbox, and it says, please Dropbox the website URL of your pre-professional portfolio here and share it to our group Facebook page. Please note you must publish your portfolio before sharing the URL. So when you're creating a portfolio in one of these websites, you're going to be in a working document. You have to hit publish to get the actual website URL. Otherwise, you get the working URL and no one can access that. That's through your own individual password protected account. So you have to publish it, and we want the published URL. If you have any questions on your pre-professional portfolio, please let me know. But again, these examples are great resources for you. And if you have any questions, let me know.